Whatever you do, don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. Throughout your life, there will be times where you'll be in a room or with a person stuck between two choices. You will be at the edge of a decision and you'll want to retreat and ask for advice. But you can't do that because asking for advice betrays the very person who knows what to do, which is you. Think about it. When you're faced with something, you're the one there. The moment before can never be known by anyone else. We aren't there. Your instinct is sharpened by 1,000 small collisions that have been built up. Nobody else is around for the glances, the timings, and the micro moments that you feel and hear. And you can't explain things or tell anyone about it either, because words of what happened alone aren't enough to fully translate what you know. There's an Eastern phrase that says, the moment you name something, you reveal an aspect of it, but also conceal its true nature. By speaking, you cast a light to something. At the same time, you cast a shadow. That's just a limitation of language. That's why you can't just tell your friends, guys, she said this. Because how did she say it? When did she say it? What did her eyes do? Her breath? What were the silences like? What was felt in those silences? What did she do before? What did she do after? When you go for advice, there are a million things your mentor, your partner, your best friend does not know. It's the undercurrent. By you experiencing life, you absorb real-time data. That's why great authors don't just write dialogue in their books. Instead, there are these passages that capture the humanity in between lines with very intricate language. And even then, writers are dissatisfied that they couldn't really capture the essence of the moments humans share. But it proves there is that undercurrent. And when you ask for advice, you lose that. Truth is formed from details that stack up on top of each other that you could feel in your body long before you can ever articulate it. Which is why you have to listen to yourself. That voice is powerful. That quiet internal verdict you have is truer than anything you can gather from another person's advice. It's not rational, but you can feel it, yet you hesitate. Why does this matter? Because if you take too long, you might lose your chance forever. Some doors only open once. I've missed doors my whole life. And you remember them too because they just look back at you. There are moments where I was so sure of something and I doubted myself. I asked other people for advice and I lost the moment and I let that future escape me. Sometimes you take too long, or sometimes you didn't take the risk and someone else told you to play it safe. Those opportunities for me are gone. And people romanticize your mistakes. Like, they try to make you feel better and they say, sweetie, your mistakes made you who you are. No, they are failures that made me weaker. They were failures, and I had to admit that to stop repeating them. And you know what I realized this year? Anytime I was proud of myself, it was because I went my own way. Nothing great ever came from following someone else's advice. Maybe good, neutral things, but never the moments I smile about. The only times when I felt life was really amazing was when I was steering the wheel. Check this out. When I got accepted to college, one of the assistant principals in my high school sat me down. She pulled me out of class and tried to convince me not to go to USC. She said, go to a small college. Knowing you, you're a little different. You're not going to fit in a large university. And she almost did convince me to withdraw my admission. But I went back to my locker and thought, I want to go to a large university. I like that. I don't want to interrogate why I like it. I like it. If I don't fit in, that's okay, because college is a place to grow. And so I went to the university I wanted, and that choice broke open my whole life. It allowed me to flourish. If I didn't go to that college, I would have been in level 0 all these years. It's so important to be somewhere unfamiliar, bump into people. It's the only way to move up. Most of the time, human beings aren't stupid. We just haven't yet met the people who could change our minds. It takes certain people to teach you something. How to think, how to dress, what is possible. We're a result of a lot of people affecting us. You get to choose who you are, and you're still your own person, but it's impossible to call yourself fully formed if your identity hasn't been influenced or tested at all. A shape only becomes a shape because something pressed against it. You have to be affected. So, on the contrary, we can probably be more forgiving to people. Deep down, no one's really an idiot. They're just sort of surrounded by them. And they're one person away from forming a part of themselves that they never knew could be there. You have to listen to yourself. No matter how credible a person is, whether they have a doctor in front of their name. My assistant principal, she actually did have a DR in front of her name. How old a person is, how nice they say it, because it's always, I'm saying this because I love you. No, then don't love me. No matter if it's a whole group persuading you against your deepest desire, you have to disregard them if it disagrees with your intuition. Your own mother raised you to develop your own intuition. Your only job is to listen to it. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote this essay. It's sick. It's called Self-Reliance. I found it on the floor at USC. See that? It was a packet that someone had printed for a class. And I remember that it was so dirty and crumpled up. But because it had all of these annotations and highlights, it caught my eye. I said, ooh, I want to read that. It changed my life. Like, the brain works different because of what it was exposed to. My thoughts just navigate differently because of this essay. I summarized it here. This is sort of a custom passage of what Emerson wrote. A man should learn to detect and watch that gleam of light which flashes across his mind from within. Listen to that inward voice and bravely obey that. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Is it so bad to be misunderstood? Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. Your genuine action will explain itself. Your conformity explains nothing. What I must do is all that concerns me, not what the people think. It's on my phone, actually. I gotta read this whole speech by itself because this essay is just fucking awesome. Anyway, what he's vouching for is for you to be a little more brave when it comes to that inner voice in you. He calls it a gleam of light that flashes across your mind. And what I like about that is he's saying it's temporary. If the light is flashing, that means it's going to leave. You have it when it's bright, but not for long. It will disappear, and it's your obligation to follow it. It's deeper than just authenticity. It's the magic of the soul, the mission of your heart. It's a door that opens just for you. Just for you, man. Open that knob, dog. Open that shit. Be a knob opener. # knob opener. From my experience, people always double turn when I tell them what happens to me. They're surprised, like, there's no way she gave you the time of day. You got hired, or you negotiated to get all that for free. Yeah, like crazy things can happen when you have an open heart at all times and feel really free to turn left or right. Life rewards people who follow that inner signal. Bullshit. Like when your gut is so real, you find real, real finds you, because you're not filled with shit anymore. You give yourself permission to be what I call a comet. That's what I say. A comet is like this unstoppable force that just melts through the world, melts through all the crap. And not because it has strength, or it's rough, or it has pride, but because it peacefully believes. And you will melt through the world if you stay this free, right to where you belong. And notice that I don't say being a comet will take you right up to the top, because life is not about the top. I don't know who keeps saying that. The top, it's all ego. It's about being where you belong, because your heart is different than the other 8 billion people on this earth. Let it go home. The thing about comets, though, is, I will admit, does take you to some pretty funny places. This is the worst example, but I remember working at this restaurant. I've only been there a few weeks, and there was this really mean manager, just ruthless. Everyone avoided her. You couldn't even make her smile. Well, soon enough, just by being free and saying what's true, I'm sitting in her office, and she is breaking down crying at me, a new employee, telling me the job is too hard. And I'm like, yeah, this is weird. You know what? I don't mean to use that example to shame whatever she's going through. The way to frame it is, you cut through to people's humanity when you start being human. If you never get to do that, well, it's because you're being a robot, doing what everyone else is doing. This is why I hate advice. It goes against the very beauty of you being alive. Life is in your hands, and people don't know the context or the pathway to the future of any problem you share with them. It's you. You do. Advice is basically prepackaged language. Someone else's labels and conclusions dropped onto your life before you've earned them through experience. And that's the danger. The moment you start accepting those words too early, you start performing understanding instead of actually living your way into it. You have to be very careful about what words you use. Language has its risks. It's dangerous. The mistake people make is using words before they live the experience that the words describe. That's unfortunately what it does. Language lets us pretend we've understood something before we lived it. And once a label is applied too early, it replaces the truth. The beautiful, little detailed, pretty truth. What is more gorgeous than the truth? That's the whole point. That's what you're supposed to go towards, and then you killed it. You killed what you were supposed to do, which is find the truth. False words will give you a shortcut that masquerades as wisdom. Like, attention world, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, and you use language to look like you do, then you waste everyone else's time trying to figure out who you really are. And you waste your time trying to figure that out too. There is a damn high probability that we lie to ourselves unconsciously. Success looks like this. Love looks like this. No. Drop that. That is another person's definition of success. That's another person's image of love. Those things are experienced, not inherited. No one should be taught how to love. Tips, maybe, sure, but not how to love. That derives from your heart. Because if you get advice from your older sister, then your girlfriend is technically just dating your older sister. Hopefully, she's there to date you. You know? One of the most overlooked, just fucking saddest crimes that a young person can do to another young person is when you start using words of great movies to an innocent person who believes you. Expressions of love from a film or a singer that aren't yet felt. And and the crime is that it's just premature. Just because great artists have expressed it in a way you like doesn't mean you transfer it over to the person you're dating if you don't mean it. That can do a lot of damage. I think it has done a lot of damage. You need to learn life for yourself from the ground up. You need to be your own living organism that feels things from the start and experiences original emotions. You need to react freshly and accept the subtle weirdnesses inside you and honor your individuality. Literally. Honor it. I don't want you to know that a good life is this way. I want you to live life how you would normally live if you were the only person on Earth. After all, aren't you? Doesn't the state of being alive imply that you can only really trust what's inside your head? Listen to it. And of course you can be wrong. Of course we'll follow that inner voice and still make a mistake. But it's a win if it's our mistake. If we followed our gut straight to failure and our path was honest and that path belonged to you, W. That is a freaking win. Victory. But it is a double loss if you followed someone else's mistaken advice. Because 1, you failed. And 2, you failed dishonestly, not even as you. And you know what? Say you did win with another person's advice. You still lost because their past self is living through you. It's taking the wheel. You know what imitation does to humanity? It infects them, just like a virus, because it turns them into a host for someone else's old life. That's an L. 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 Now, the irony, of course, is I'm giving you advice, but I personally think it's the only one you should take, which is don't take it. Be wary of others telling you what to do. Honor more seriously the magic in you that already knows. If you can make your own mistakes, you can make your own miracles. And if you were really listening, maybe don't take my advice at all. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?